All right, welcome back. You don't need to know what's going on. You don't need to know what's going on. But welcome back. We're going to talk about the English Premier League, the FA Cup, and of course take a look at the papers. But let's talk about the English Premier League yesterday. Nobody's surprised. Any Liverpool victory doesn't surprise anybody.
A loss will be news. You're waiting for the loss.
A loss will probably be
to make the breaking
in the news. And now they beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-1 yesterday. Cecilia's already talking about them catching up with the Invincibles. Nobody's talking about the result. Catching up with the Invincibles. That's what everybody's talking about.
And that's where the scare is. That's where the fear is. Because this is not the first time some team was able to get close to this kind of historical, monumental kind of results. But, kudos to Liverpool. They did something that only teams like Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, and of course Arsenal, even Manchester United managed some long run of unbeaten. So it's not beans at all. It is really not beans, especially when you get to face a very resolute Molino team. And you see how much their fans are behind them. You see how hungry they are. I feel like Wolverhampton is like everybody's favorite second team. And they always live up to the
billing. You trust with the big teams.
With the big teams, like
get something.
They go head to head to you compared to Leicester City that can just discombobulate on their own and self-implode. This team will take it to you till the ending of the drop. But I feel that this next set of 15 games, because all they have is roughly 15 games to just hold on. That's where the worry is, because like I was talking about Serena, when you have that amount of history, knowing that every game you play,
the weight is just too much.
The weight is on you. So I would like to see how Klopp manages his team. Because if you look his precedents, although precedents doesn't count because the recent turn of events for him has given him reasons to have things in his cabinet that have silver as opposed to some people that have only plate and cup. But as it stands, I want to see what he can use to motivate these boys. Because that's what they take.
Do you think they really need any motivation? The fact that you're closing in on the title for the first time in 30 years, most of the players playing for him were not even born the last time Liverpool won the title. So it tells you a lot. Last year they won the Champions League. The only thing you have to do now, forget other championships. Focus on this one. And you're 16 points clear of your closest rivals with how many games to go? Now they've won 22 games on the bounce. 22 out of 23. It tells you a whole lot. 14 consecutive victories.
So, I mean, but sorry for cutting. But see what someone like that will understand what it means to be pressured very, very much in a high pressurized game in the front of the world. Zverev, he was talking about how social media affects them. You think it doesn't affect us? It affects us. If I don't flick a ball well, it affects me. And that's a tennis player. Now imagine, if I were Klopp, I would tell my boys, 1 hour a day social media. After then, shut it down. See, the thing that what Ferguson used to do to his boys then, when it came to tournament time, even this guy in Wales, their coach during the Euros, that stopped everybody from...
Gareth Southgate.
Not Southgate, from Wales, the Welsh coach. He made all of them not have relations with their wives, their girlfriends.
Was it Ryan Giggs? Okay,
no.
before...
Chris Coleman?
Thank you. Okay. He did that to them. So I feel like in these last 16 games, I call your guys, draw a plan. Oh, yeah, this is what you do at this time and this time.
It doesn't work for everyone. We know how Romero, remember the story of how he told the coach he needs to be in Brazil to celebrate and all that, and say, okay, score goals. If you do, he scored 2 goals and he says, okay, can I go now? There's some players who, I mean, you don't even need that much attention. When you know that, when you know what's at stake and you know you are already catching it. The last time they lost by just one, how many points? So, I mean, if you see that, you wouldn't want that to repeat itself.
Let me tell you why. Because the cracks are already there. The minute Henderson, yes, he got a goal yesterday. The minute he got that, oh, you are the player of England. Look at how his game fumbled over the weekend. Since Mane got his African Player of the Year award, how has his game been? Since Salah didn't get it.
By the way, there are worries about it, but Klopp has played down.
He has played down those, but look at Salah. Since Salah didn't get African Player of the Year, he has been extra selfish. They could have buried that game several times yesterday. Even the one over the weekend. Players will be open. Minamino will be open as a window.
Okay, now let's leave Liverpool. We can talk about Liverpool and this show will not even end. Let's just quickly run through the fixtures of the FA Cup. That's what most of
matches to be played over the weekend.
Absolutely. That's what the Premier League, I mean, no Premier League matches, but then you have the FA Cup. You hear me?
Brentford up against Leicester City, Burnley up against Norwich, Millwall up against Sheffield United. You have Newcastle up against Oxford United, Southampton up against Tottenham. This is going to be very interesting. West Ham up against West Brom, Hull City up against Chelsea. You have Reading up against Cardiff this Saturday. There are still some games on Sunday, I think. Arsenal will be playing I think on Monday. You have Manchester City up against Fulham, Tranmere Rovers up against Manchester United, Shrewsbury Town up against Liverpool. These are the games on Sunday. And I think Arsenal will be involved. I think that's on Monday. So let's take a look at the papers now.
Yeah, papers now. We'll start with the complete sports here. And of course, it's all about Victor Moses completing his move. Inter Milan has confirmed that they've even unveiled him. You know, he will be wearing number 11 jersey after completing the move. We're looking at complete sports this morning. And still on that same complete sport, you have this story that says 7 days for Balogun to salvage Eagles' career. Transfer window, of course, is going to end January 31st. And I'm sure that's why the story is here. He needs to leave to be able to play for the Super Eagles because he's not playing, so he obviously wouldn't be what the coach would be thinking of when the qualifiers start in March.
Should he even have waited this long? That's what I don't understand.
You see my smirk? My smirk is because when we talk about how you get distracted by stuff you don't need to be distracted about, when he was busy talking funny on social media.
Talking down on people asking him questions.
When he was doing that, he didn't realize that there was a Victor Moses that was out of the whole picture, that was still trying to do his homework and assignments. Now, Victor Moses has one of the biggest transfers for this January window. And I feel like this is a guy that will probably win a cup with that particular coach and that particular club. But instead, since that time, downward spiral. You have to be careful about how you manage it.
You're being wicked now.
No, it's not being wicked now.
He needs to leave to be able to...
Agents need to show video, recent video of you showing work.
So
but it doesn't have a recent video of you showing work. And you have people like Moses that didn't have so great videos and they still managed to show workout time and use workout video to stitch up transfer.
But let me ask you this, as we go to the next one, must he take a step down?
Okay.
Must he take a step? That's the question. Okay, if you're not playing Brighton, maybe go to a championship side, travel out of England, or
push for a loan, go to France. As long as you are playing regularly, you are in Nigeria. You are loved already. You will still get a call-up.
That's it.
Arabian Nights, Joshua received huge offer to actually fight Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury
to take the fight,
in Saudi Arabia.
Any fight, to take it to Saudi Arabia again. Those guys are pushing. They're grabbing every sport.
Oh, yes, they should, because they've done the homework. They've done the old building infrastructures. They've brought It's like when you have arranged everything for a house party and no guests. So you have to make people come and see how your house is. So I like how they are doing it with sports. Maybe they will carry a real one, because those ones they are boxing this Saturday, I'll be this weekend. Our Nigerian baseball team.
Come and show your skills.
No, one day we could do that.
Yeah. Okay, so Sporting Sun is the last. Just take one from Sporting Sun here. And this is simply because it had to do with Vito Osimhen. The coach is telling him to be selfish. I mean, you have to be selfish. That's the only way you can score more goals. And also, you have Egyptian club have appointed Emmanuel Amunike as head coach.
What she just read reminds me of what one coach told Emil Elski and said, you are a striker. I don't need you to pass around the ball. Score. And Nicolas Anelka too had that problem with the France coach. Said, stop coming out of the box.
Mo Salah is not a 9. If you are a 9, if it's a Firmino that wants to be selfish, he can be selfish, not a Mo Salah. But yeah, that's one part of his game that has not been able to grow because he's always, maybe because when he plays in the national team, he's the younger boy, so he has to be respectful and pass ball, so it won't be like, they show yourself. Sorry for the pigeon parlance, but I think that's what he needs to up his game. If he does that, you are a 9. The world should be at your feet.
You're judged by your goals.
I mean, a 9 is a scorer, not a passer, a bully. You score. So
Sporting Live, the last one, Yemi.
Sporting Live, last paper for review today as we prepare to leave the studio. Ndidi rejoices, feels good to be back. Victor Beba backs Nigeria to progress. We all expect that. Raw dreads Cape Verde. Should we be dreaded?
Maybe because of the Seychelles thing, but good one for Ndidi because he has been one of the players in the World Cup that has been very consistent. Absolutely. I really hope he's one of those guys that could actually make it to the FIFA 11 with his growth rate. That's why his coach calls him the machine. It shows you how hungry he is to play ball because when he's even supposed to be injured and not come back for 3 months, my guy hopped his game. Pushed everything possible, and he's pushing, he's hungry, and I feel like he deserves every good thing that comes to him.
And as we go, the qualifiers, we are entering to phase 2 easily. Should we dread anybody?
I feel like it's a game that we should be able to see more flair in Nigerian football, so I expect to see more flair, but it's something that we could do. Yeah.
All right, that's a wrap on the papers, on the show, but first, we have to thank Tracy for your time on the show. It's always fun having you around.
Thank you for having me over. February next, too.
You make us smile. All right, thank you very much. All right, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your show. It's the last one for the week. You can join us later tonight for another 1 hour of sports with us in the Kona Akman. But on this show, you're going to see us again on Monday. I'm Iman Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a fantastic weekend.